Hello and welcome back to another episode of MacStories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees, and Federico Vitici is right over there in Rome. Hey,
Hello.
Federico.
Hello, John. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing really well. I'm
Good morning.
enjoying
Thanks for
crisp
doing
fall.
this
Yeah,
early. It's 8:30 in the morning for you
it
right
is.
now.
It is,
Yeah.
which isn't very early. I've been up for a few hours, but I sort of lost track of time.
When you
But
say
we're
a
going to start.
few, what is a few?
I
Three?
get up at 5:30 every day.
Ah, okay. You
So a
know, you
few
know,
is three.
you know. Many a lifetime ago,
Yeah,
I used to wake up at noon, at 1
I
p.m.
remember.
I have become the kind of person that wakes up every day at 8:30 a.m., which
Oh.
is, for me, it's pretty big change.
If you had asked me to guess, I would have said you were a 9:30 person because I
No, I
remember
used to
the
be
days
until a
when.
month ago, but
Okay,
now we need to feed the dogs earlier,
okay,
and that is my responsibility. So I wake up at 8:30 every day.
all right, all right. Well, I mean, I've noticed you've been getting up earlier. I get more text messages by the time I wake up, so
Yes.
we used to be almost on exactly the same time schedule, but not
Yeah,
anymore.
not
Not anymore.
anymore. Not anymore. So we have some topics for the unplugged segment today, and I think the first one is a question from you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about daily notes because I know
Yeah.
you've been doing daily notes in Notion. And I have always had sort of a system that I've used, which was more like weekly notes, but it was a weekly note that was broken into days of the week that I would then write notes in.
Mm.
And I think that from like a process and a technical standpoint, those two things can be, depending on how you organize them, relatively similar. But I was messing around in Notion and thinking about maybe giving daily notes a try, maybe modifying my weekly notes to something that I've used in Obsidian for a long time to work in Notion instead. And I
Mm.
haven't really decided what to do. And I just want to get a sense for both from you, like how do you use daily notes, both in terms of what do you use them to track and how do you kind of set them up in Notion in a way that is kind of useful to your overall system that you're using.
Oh, what a question.
I know it's maybe a very big
How
question
much
for
how much
Unwind.
time do we have?
Well, give me the broad overview, and then if people are interested, maybe they should let us know because we could do an episode of App Stories about it or something.
Okay. Very loosely structured.
Okay,
That's the whole point. The daily note for me is a space where I can dump whatever I want, and it's like an inbox. It's
it's a little bit like a
basically
scratch pad or an inbox. It's
it's a
both.
daily inbox slash daily scratch pad. Call it whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I just have an idea or have a task or have something that I need to paste that I don't have the time to fine tunedly like organize with
Yeah.
metadata, with a project, or with a date. I just have the text. I open the daily note and I type it in, and I'll worry about it later. So
Right, right.
it's a
You don't want to think about it now, but you don't want to lose
nope.
track of it.
Exactly.
Right.
And in fact, the key practice with this system isn't just to use the daily notes,
Uh-huh.
is to review the daily notes on a consistent basis.
Mm.
And the way that I do this is my daily notes are a database in Notion. Each daily note has a checkbox property called done.
Okay.
And in the database, I only see the daily notes that are not marked as done. So it
Mm-hmm.
means that I haven't still fully reviewed that daily note, right?
Mm-hmm.
That database I can see when I open my dashboard. So my dashboard note in Notion is like a hub that
Yeah.
contains basically inline databases to let me take a look at other parts of my Notion. So when I
Got it.
open my dashboard, I got an inline section for my daily notes, another section for my web clippings, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So reviewing the daily notes is just as important, if not more important, than actually entering data in the daily notes. Now,
So you're not doing anything like taking your daily note and moving things that you don't get to another daily
nope,
note.
that's the one place where I want to have manual friction, because
Mm.
that to me is the whole purpose of the human review, like actually sitting
Right.
down and
Right.
process. I did try that. Like I did try to use AI to automatically process my undone daily notes for me, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose. I
Yeah.
kind of want to sit down and manually, the old-fashioned way, think, okay, is this still important? Is this still something that I should be taking care of? Is this idea valid? Like a tiny bit of friction. Everything in my life is so automated
Yeah.
that there are the important parts where I actually want to use my brain, like I actually want to sit
Right.
down and do things manually. So no, I don't automate that
So
part.
where do those things go when you do that review? Are they
Well,
going in?
sometimes they become tasks in to-do
Hmm.
list. Other times they're just deleted because it's a stupid idea that I had, but it was important to save it. And other times they go into my content planner database, which is another database in Notion where I organize the things that I want to write about
Right.
based on the destination. So is this going to be a MacStories article? Is it going to be a weekly section? Is it going to be
Got
an
it.
Automation Academy? That sort of stuff.
Interesting. So when you're done reviewing one of these notes and you no longer see it, do you ever go back to them? I mean, I know a lot of
No,
people use okay, because a lot of people use daily notes as a sort of journaling to keep
no, I don't journal. No, I
a
don't
record
journal.
of what they're doing in their day.
I don't journal, but one of the I have never done that, like that idea of like, oh, let me reminisce the like I don't do that. Maybe I will later in life. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I find useful though is to use Notion AI to say, hey, what kind of notes have I taken so far about, I don't know, Apple Intelligence.
Hmm.
And when I ask that, Notion AI looks into all of my notes, including the archived ones. So it's going to tell me, well, you have this note in your content planner for an article
Right.
that you're working on, but also in your daily notes, you took some notes about Apple Intelligence on June 20th and
Right.
on September 15th. Like it looks into my entire archive. So I don't journal that, but I can search that if I want
Right.
to.
So you're leaving those things there. Some of them may migrate into a task manager or your content planner or whatever it is, but the notes themselves just kind of sit there in a database. You don't see them
I don't see them. I don't
because
see
you've
them. Yeah.
filtered your database, but
Yes.
they're there if you want to use search or something.
Now, here's the geeky part of this process.
Okay.
So far, these daily notes were created for me every day at midnight by Zapier with a very basic look. Like
Why
it's got.
not in Notion? Notion has a thing where it can automatically create a note for you. Did
Does
you know
it?
that?
Because I
It
never got it
does.
to. I never got it to work.
There's the template system can be set up on a recurring schedule. It's a pretty new feature, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that
You should
because
check
I.
that out. If you go to the
But
templating, go ahead.
But what I did notice is that as of a few days ago, the Notion API added support for creating over the API a note based on a template.
Mm,
And when I was using Zapier, when I set this up with Zapier like 6 months ago, that was not possible. You could
okay.
not create a page based on a template via the API.
Right.
But now you can, which means that potentially, if I want to, and I'm not sure that I do, because I think I like to keep these notes simple.
Yeah.
But if I want to, I could set up a fancy template where at the top of the daily note, there's like, I don't know, a database that shows me the web clippings for the day or my articles that I'm working on for the day or my calendar events or something like that.
Yeah, you
I
could.
I haven't done that so far. I have intentionally kept the template very simple.
I think that's probably smart. I mean, the thing about I think with templates, and I've messed around with them a bit, is it's very easy to get into designing some elaborate
Yeah,
thing, and then you use it, and you're like, well, this is here, but I don't know that I really need it here because you've already got
exactly.
your dashboard and all that kind of thing.
Exactly. So my Notion isn't that sexy, honestly, and
Yeah,
but it's very functional. It's very functional, and I
that's
can
good.
honestly say that it has made me very productive, very efficient, managing the iOS review, managing the many silly ideas that I have sometimes. It
Right.
has been great for planning and organizing the M5 iPad Pro review. But yeah, that's how I use my daily notes. Very simple system with a healthy dose of human friction at the end when I want to sit down and think, okay, I saved all of these things. Some of them are no longer relevant. Some of them are silly. Some of them are maybe pretty good. I should save them in a
Yeah.
proper place like a task manager or in the space where I plan and write my articles.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for databases with Notion, I think. I think databases add a layer of intelligence to notes that it's really very useful. And obviously you can do that in other systems like Obsidian, but I think Notion has done a particularly good job with it. And I think for me, one of the things that has made Notion more appealing recently than it has in the past is Notion AI, because I have felt like I didn't have to dig into the world of Notion Nation grifters
Yeah, yeah,
and find the useful kernels of truth amongst
yeah.
all the hard sells for $100
Do you
courses
want
and
to
stuff.
sign up for my webinar and my course, John?
I would love to teach you webinar.
I can take you from novice to expert Notion user in just 4 weeks with my $2,000 course. Do you want
Right.
to do it? Do you want to do it?
I'm up for it. I'm up for
Okay.
it. Here's
Just
my
because it's
$2,000.
you, I'm going to make it 2,200
Oh.
instead of 2,000.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I get the John Voorhees penalty. Uh, the extra 10% for you.
But yeah, look, honestly, that's I think one of the downsides of Notion is that same with AI. Really, there are a lot of
Yeah.
grifters out there. Lots of hype sometimes for things that are just like
It's really an equal opportunity thing on the internet these days. There are grifters everywhere.
yeah, it's the grifter economy. Like
It really is.
they're everywhere.
You
But I
just
think
notice them more on the hot topics like Notion
yeah,
and
but
AI.
I think if you can sort of separate those people from the actual quality of a product, and if you can separate the hype from the product itself, there's
Right.
there's some pretty good stuff in Notion. A lot of good stuff in Notion.
Yeah.
Now, something else that I wanted to quickly mention before we also quickly discuss our picks.
Uh-huh.
I have been in. Again, this should probably be a topic on App Stories. Been playing around with these agentic AI browsers. Not really sure so far where I land, but I feel like they're pretty much the same, right? Dia,
Mhm.
Comet, Atlas by ChatGPT.
Right.
Now Edge has new Copilot features. You can install the Claude extension in Google Chrome. And they're all basically just sort of like have all of these browsers at a high level. They all have two things in common. One of them is a sidebar where you can chat with the assistant and ask it like
Right.
to summarize what you're looking at or, find information on a web page. And the other is they become agents and they take actions on your behalf. Now, this agent thing, I kind of don't understand. Or I should say, sometimes they show off these cool demos, but they're just cool demos, but they're not practical because sometimes they show off these agents that take, I don't know, 5 minutes to perform something that you can do
Yeah.
manually in 30 seconds.
Yeah. None of them are very fast or good.
None of them are very fast.
I mean, the Atlas demo, you and I were kind of watching it and texting back and forth because they're very clever in the way they do it. They don't actually show it struggling as it's clicking around the page, which
Yeah.
it always does.
Yeah.
And then if you watch carefully during that demo, they pull up a recipe that says to have 6 green onions, and then they have it go buy the ingredients on Instacart, and it buys 6 bunches of green onions, which is you can get 6 green onions out of one bunch of green
Yeah.
onions usually. So I mean, they're not super useful.
Yeah.
Plus,
And
they're
like
dangerous potentially.
also dangerous, especially for data exfiltration. If you're logging with your accounts and you give these agents access to a logged in, I don't know, bank website, that's a recipe for
I
disaster.
don't log into anything with those browsers.
But the other thing I don't understand is like if you want to offer these agents, and if these agents are slow,
Yeah.
you should offer by default an automation feature to run these agents on a schedule so that if they take 20 minutes to perform something at least make them perform that stuff in the background on a schedule as long as your computer is on and the browser is open. So I'm struggling to understand these browsers, and from my perspective, if I had to choose right now, I think Comet by Perplexity is the more interesting one because it's more fleshed out, lets you save snippets as like longer prompts, so you can create custom commands, kind of similar to skills in Dia. But also
Yeah.
Comet seems to be the only one that can actually very quickly extract the transcript from a YouTube video and summarize a YouTube video for you. But in general, all of these browsers are desktop only, so they're not on mobile. ChatGPT is saying that they're bringing Atlas to mobile, but is that going to work? Like, how's that going to work with an agent on your iPhone? Not clear
Yeah.
to me. But overall, like all of these mess, all these conversations for a browser with a sidebar and a slow agent, I don't know.
I don't know either
You know,
because
like,
as browsers they tend to be very stripped down too. So you're kind
yeah.
of giving away, you're kind of losing some of what you would get in Chrome normally, some of the features and things. Yeah, I don't know about them either. I really don't. I mean, Comet is interesting. It has tasks which can be scheduled, which is the only other company
Well,
that's really
no,
doing.
Perplexity has tasks, not Comet.
Oh, you're right. Then
They
you know
have
what?
promised cloud
Yes.
tasks based on a virtual instance of Comet. So not
Yeah.
Comet on your computer,
Right.
but a Comet in the cloud, basically the ChatGPT agent for the virtual browser. They have promised that.
Yeah,
That's going
but
to
they
be
haven't done
interesting,
it.
but they haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
So,
that tripped me up immediately because when that feature came out, the first place I went to try it was Comment, and it's like,
yeah,
Federico, it's not here. It's like, no, it's in
yeah.
Perplexity. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't think Perplexity's tasks are particularly good either, from what I've seen. I mean, the ones I've
Mm.
tried are pretty rough. I mean, maybe I'm trying to do too much with it. I do wonder about the scheduling thing. We've talked about this before, that a lot of these companies are not doing scheduling. And to me, on the one hand, I feel like scheduling is a way for them to spread out the load on their systems to begin with, which is, so I would think they'd want to do it. On the other hand, having set up some tasks in Perplexity and just kind of left them there for a few weeks, even though I'm not really using them, I feel like maybe their concern is that you're using up their compute, even if you're not actually
Eh,
looking at what you're creating. So who knows why
maybe.
they're not doing it? I
Who
don't know.
knows? Who knows? But yeah, I've been look right now on my Mac. I got Atlas, Chrome, Firefox, um, Safari, and I don't
Dia
have Dia.
probably.
I don't.
No,
No,
you
I
don't.
don't have Dia. I don't
Have you
have Dia.
tried Dado? Dado's another one that just came out of beta. DATO.
No, no, I haven't
It,
seen that. I
oh,
have
it,
seen. I have seen this other one called Strawberry. Have you seen this
yeah, I've seen that
Strawberry?
one.
And then there are also like this new wave of non-AI browsers.
That
So
are
very
just like
famous.
Arc, basically. They're trying to pick up where Arc left off, I think, mostly.
Yeah, very famously, the folks at Vivaldi have said they're not going to integrate any AI in their browser. There's also this new there's obviously Zen browser, which is based on the Firefox engine.
Yep.
And there is also this new one based on Chromium with no AI, like all sort of private stuff called Helium. That
I
I've
don't think I've
also,
seen that
yeah.
one.
Oh, there's so many browsers, John. It's like, it's wild. Like, and
It's
this
weird to
new,
me that there are right now. I don't think that there's room for, well, I mean, there's definitely not room for all these browsers,
I
but
feel I feel like we keep seeing these browsers pop up because at a very fundamental level, like we all are kind of dissatisfied with the browser, right? But at the
are we
same
dissatisfied
time,
with browsers or are we dissatisfied with the experience on the web? I mean, those are two different things.
no, I don't know. From my perspective, it's a little bit of both. But
Yeah.
I like what I thought when I heard, oh, these companies are going to make AI browsers. I hoped that would have meant, oh, it's going to be a browser that sort of self-organizes for you, that organizes your tabs and applies natural language to the things that you want to search. And to an extent, Atlas does that.
Hmm.
The history search, I think, is the most interesting aspect of Atlas so far. Like, hey, being able to ask, hey, I remember I opened this 2 weeks ago. Can you confirm? Like, that is interesting for me.
Yep.
But otherwise, like, If all you're giving me is a summarizer in a sidebar and a slow agent that takes 5 minutes to click a drop down, like that's not good enough. That is
Yeah,
not good enough.
it's not. And none of them handle modern web design very well because so much of the web now is controls that only appear when you hover over something, and no agent can handle that at all.
Yeah.
I had Atlas messing around in Feedbin. I did log into Feedbin briefly on Atlas to see what it could do with the articles in my sidebar, and it struggled. It wasn't able
Yeah.
to do anything useful.
Yeah. Well, look at that, John. I think we just did an entire episode of Unwind that was an unplugged segment. So I think we're going to save the picks for next week, unless
Yeah,
you
no, that's a good idea because my pick is a series that's in progress and it's not
Oh, you
even
gotta.
quite halfway
You,
through.
mine
So,
was a game that I'm still playing. So,
all
yeah.
right, well, we'll have picks next week, and
Yeah.
I will put an unwind deal in the show notes because there are a lot of deals on Halloween movies. Federico, as the person who mans the MacStories deals social
Hmm.
accounts, I have to tell you that I'm very sick of looking at horror movie deals. For the last 4 to 6 weeks, I've been looking at a lot of horror movie deals. I have not posted very many of them. I
Hmm.
decided to wait until it was close to Halloween, and that was a good call because the deals are getting better and it's a better quality of classic scary movies. So I'll put a scary movie or two
Hmm.
in the show notes this week.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. If you want to hear more about things like Notion and AI browsers or just alternative browsers in general, let us know because we'll maybe do a full episode of App Stories on it at some point. And in the meantime, you can go on over to macstories.net to see what Federico and I and the rest of the team are up to. And we're on social media where Federico is at Vitici. That's VITICCI, and I'm at John Voorhees, JOHNVOORHEES. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.